And we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Sanket. I welcome you all into today's webinar, where we'll go ahead and talk about cybersecurity. The topic for today's webinar is how to kickstart your career in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has been the talk of the town lately. Okay. I remember even in the G20 summit that's going on right now, there has been a lot of emphasis that has been put on cybersecurity and how the countries are actually going to go ahead and talk about in the future. So on that note, we are going to go ahead and talk a lot more about it. And to discuss it further, I would like to go ahead and welcome our speaker for today, the industry expert that we have, that is Shashanko Roy. Shashanko has joined us from Boston, United States, and he is a cybersecurity leader with more than, I guess, close to 20 years of experience, if I'm right, sir. That's what you have. Okay, and currently he is serving in KPMG, United States, in the position of director, and he has trained thousands of students in the field of cybersecurity. He handles millions of dollars of business alone. So I think he's going to be the perfect guy to go ahead and help you decide whether cybersecurity is something that you want or not. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pass on the mic to him so that he can go ahead and get this session kickstarted. Shashanko, sir, the mic is all yours.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Sanket, for the introduction. So first of all, thank you, Sanket, for calling me here and Zatia's group for this association. So let me very quickly talk a little about myself beyond what Sanket just told everyone. The year was 2002 when I passed out of my college with engineering degree in electronics engineering from the same college from where Sanket comes in. So I was a few batches senior to him from the same university, and I very soon started my career in network security, right? In networking, I started being a Cisco guy, configuring routers, firewalls, switches, and so on, and joined the armed forces. And I joined the forces to go ahead and support setting up data centers. I started setting up data centers across Brunei, setting up data centers across Malaysia, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and I returned to India with a very clear mind. This time, I knew that I wanted to move away from network administrator role and shift my career to cybersecurity. In those days, it was not called cybersecurity, it was called information security, because what we were trying to protect was the information only, right?
Sir, sorry to interrupt you in between. Sir, can you put the screen to full screen? I mean, it's not full screen.
No,
right
I can.
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they're not able to view it properly. So if we move it to full screen, that would be great, sir. Thank you.
I will do that. Just give me a moment here so that I minimize this part of this section. I may have to go out and come in, so give me a minute here. Just let me know if people can see me better now.
I guess, sir, you'll have to change the display settings from the top.
Okay. Let me do this. In that case, let me take off my other screen itself so that I'm only on one screen and reproject things. Yeah, is this better?
No, sir, it's the same. You'll have to change the display settings from the top. At the top left. Yeah.
And is this better now?
Yes, it is. It's perfect.
Perfect. Perfect. So, so as I was saying that this time, as I wanted to shift my career from, I would say more or less, network administrator to information security or information protection. That was what it was called way back in 2006. I'm moving to corporates like IBM because that is where information security primarily resided in those days. And very soon I was able to figure out that what I needed for my career was a big four audit firm where I can go ahead and get into cybersecurity consulting. So it was 2010 when I moved to KPMG, and I never moved out of KPMG. Over the years, I built a career primarily focusing on cloud security, GRC, audits, compliance, identity and access management, and so on. Basically, what I would walk all of you through today would be something very practical, because I know there is a lot of talk that you typically would hear about AI security, Um, a lot of it would be around blockchain security, OT security. People are talking about security in manufacturing units, right? And what are the career options? Why do we try to think about career in these lines? But what I would try to do here is to put a very practical perspective in front of you, given the global market, because I've worked in the Far East across Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore. I've worked in India. I've worked in Dubai. That covers Middle East, and since 2016, I relocated to the US. In this journey, I got introduced to different industries where we guys can basically exist and basically build our career such that we choose an option based on our own strengths, right? The idea here is not to make a developer a compliance expert or a risk management expert, or not to basically make a controls specialist a hardcore Android programmer. Because if that is the kind of career shift one needs to make, the amount of time that one needs to invest is very high, right? And success is not guaranteed. So what are we going to exactly talk about? Let me very quickly go through a few items here, okay? So one thing that I learned in this particular line of cybersecurity is the willingness to learn, right? I would give you an example what happened. To basically make a point here, I would give you the example of how data centers, where I started as a data center engineer, we used to spend years and years setting up those data centers, right? Bringing those servers, Dell servers, or HP servers, setting them up in the racks, going back, taking backup tape autoloaders, setting those up. It used to take us weeks and months of time, right? And then we used to set up network configurations, end-to-end network configurations across these data centers to enable, a business. Now, this was the scenario I was talking about even in early 2010, 2012, 2015, and then came cloud. And the day cloud came, only those survived who were willing to learn cloud. So everyone from data center technologies, let it be system administrators to network administrators to operating system specialists, those who could quickly adopt to setting up data centers in AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud survived. For everyone else, the situation was the cameraman here in 2009. Because Jobs changed, the market changed, technology changed, and we had very, very limited options in hand uh, to survive, right? What did I do? I went back to learning. I picked up my phone, spoke with Sanket. I identified a few programs. I wanted to be in the middle of AWS security, Azure security, Google security. I did all those trainings and certifications, went back on job and started picking up cloud migration projects. It has been 4 years now. In 4 years, today I am looked at as a cloud security expert, right? The point I'm trying to make here is you don't have to leave your job. You don't have to spend a couple of years not doing anything. The way this edtech industry has evolved while doing your job, you can you can decide to keep aside, say, a 20 hours every week, maybe over the weekends, maybe 2 hours every day in the evening, and start studying the subject that you need to study, that you are aiming, that will make you, succeed. Now, having said this, I would just quickly tell you what happens typically is the biggest challenge in cybersecurity, you know, uh, world is the ability of an individual to take out those 20 hours every week. Let it be over the weekend, let it be uh, every day 2 hours. It sounds easy. It is not very easy. It needs commitment. It needs investment. It needs investment on your own self, right? Now, I know there would be a lot of these questions that currently I don't do it, right? I just saw Kameshwar, your question as well, that currently you might be in financial operations, but you want to do cloud security, right? I know people who here, I have a friend of mine or a student of mine called Ole Lakan, who was running a very successful driving school business. But somewhere behind his mind, he always wanted to be in cybersecurity. Even they called. He said, "Can this happen?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "How?" I said, "Make an investment on yourself." Very simple. Having said that, let me also mention one thing. As I said, I'm not here to talk or give a rosy picture of how easy this transition is going to be, but give you the practicality of this particular field, right? Because I am a practitioner, I'm a consultant. I talk to the CISOs of the world's biggest banks here in the US. And one thing they always tell me is, Shashanko, we need people, and there are not many people. An example, in this industry, we don't have many CISSP certified professionals. CISSP is a certification provided by ISC Square, a certified information systems and security professional. Since 2008-9, I have been giving trainings on CISSP. But would you believe that even today, there are less than 60,000, 70,000 CISSP certified people across the globe? Why? Here is what typically happens. A CISSP book, the official guide, has around 2,000 pages, right? Different individuals from different regions have different speed of reading. Let us assume someone like me, for whom English is not the primary language, uh, I take around 10 minutes to read a page and to internalize it and to understand it. If I have to read 2,000 pages, right, you can imagine, forget 2000, let's break it. If I have to read 10 pages, right, I'm going to need 100 minutes. And 100 minutes means 2 hours. So let's try to assume that if you have an ability to read 30 pages a day, you have to commit to 300 minutes of reading a day. 300 minutes is 5 hours a day, right? 5 hours a day. The way I typically did it when I wanted to move into cybersecurity, succeed, I decided to do that investment on myself. I said, I'm going to wake up 5 in the morning and I would study till 8. And my 3 hours of study will be done in the morning itself. I will figure out the rest 2 hours after my job or during my job or whenever, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is that 30 pages, reading that 30 pages on the first 5 days is a different story. But consistently reading those 30 pages, because for 30 days, you will only reach half the book. And to read that for 60 days, 2 months, you will be done with reading the book. You would need to revise that book at least once. That means 3 months every day, commitment of studying 5 hours a day. And then you solve uh, test papers, mock exams. It takes 3 months to 4 months to become a CISSP. And just imagine that people don't have that time to invest on their self. I know, surprising. All of us know that once you are a CISSP certified, you can more or less be guaranteed to have a job in cybersecurity field. You are almost certain that within the next 5 years from the time you clear that exam and start working in the cybersecurity industry, you will be earning somewhere around $150,000 minimum. But still, even after knowing that, not everyone does that investment on themselves, right? But if you don't do that, you learn less, you earn less. You invest on yourself, learn more, earn more. Simple, right? So any questions till this point anyone has? Tuition fees, Sanket can take care of, right? But I'm only gonna talk the realities of the industry here, right? It is like very simple. We all knew somewhere when I was growing up, I knew that if I make it to a surgeon, you know, I'll do very well, but I still could not become a surgeon, a medical surgeon. Cybersecurity is something very similar, right? We all know how to succeed. We all know the path, but that investment needs to be done. And that investment, let me clarify, is not about money. That investment is about psychologically transforming your thoughts and living in that world as a cybersecurity guy, to be committed enough to give 5 hours every day, right? Because there is one reality about cybersecurity domain, that in this domain, you have to continue to learn. Like you cannot just in one go say that, okay, I'm CISSP now. Now I don't need to study 5 hours a day. More or less, from 2008, after I passed my CISSP exam, I had to continue studying minimum 2 hours every day, right? Because without that, I would not have learned cloud. I would not have learned uh, GRC technologies, identity and access management, and a lot of these areas that you see on this slide, right? So if you think about it, cybersecurity, when we look at a very high level, right, construct of it, we all know blockchain is coming up, blockchain is coming fast. We know uh, to what extent we need to protect ourselves on social media. We know there is a complete world of smart contacts, right? There is a complete world of uh, basically these digital watches, payment watches, everything across, especially India and across the Far East. Payments have been digitized, right? Something that always surprised me, because we in US still carry our wallets. But I know that if someone is in India, they don't need to carry their wallets. They can just carry their phone and make payments. But those payments need to be secure. Now there are people who can make payments from their watches. Those payments need to be secure. On the other side, the problem is that safety, right, is becoming problem, right? if you think about it, there are these government hospitals that went digital and then reported that the medication itself for their patients got changed by attackers or hackers, right? There were these cases where there was a war happening between two countries, right? And a third country was actually busy stealing their data, right? Called as cyber warfare. But the idea here is, in this complex picture, how do I simplify it and tell you the basic steps of how do you become cybersecurity professional, right? I know some of you asked this question in the chat as well, that uh, can I basically give you step-by-step guide, which is easier than this picture or easier than a name of a certification that go do a CISM and you should be good. Now, what do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What are the skill sets, right, that I need to develop? Let me go there slowly. I'm just reaching there. But we know that we need to secure the machine learnings, we need to secure the blockchains, we need to secure the Internet of Things. For those of you who are wondering what are Internet of Things, your TVs that can connect to the internet are Internet of Things, right? There was no such TV 10 years back that I knew where I can just watch YouTube. Now we all know what we are talking about, right? Our cars, if you have an advanced car, uh, it is connected to the internet. You can start your car from your phone and turn on the heater so that when you walk down in a city like Boston, which is typically under snow for 6 months of the year, uh, you are good, you are warm. But that kind of I would say technology comes with a risk of getting hacked. So have I wondered if my car can actually get stolen because it has all these jazzy internet connections attached to it? The answer is a yes. Last year in Black Hat, if you are aware, there is a very big event that happens here in the US called as the Black Hat. In last year, in Black Hat, during the Black Hat, a group came and demonstrated how they can start a car and and open its door just if it has internet enabled in it, right? We know there are so many people talking about artificial intelligence, right? But the moment we talk about artificial intelligence, we also have to talk about how do we secure those, right? Smart sensors. People are moving away from those key-based doors to smart sensors, right? Or facial recognition sensors, so that you don't need your doors to be the same old doors where you need a key to open it, right? Because it is the same key that thief also needs to open that door. So what you actually need is a way that intelligent system reads your face and gives you access to the house, right? But all of these sensors come with the risk of being attacked. So what I did was I came up with this slide, right? Especially to answer this question that what exactly are the skill sets that we need to build, right? We are talking about, in the right here, performing vulnerability assessments. What are vulnerability assessments? What are the skill sets we need to develop for that? See, in a nutshell, I will go through all of these skill sets very quickly, but try to understand that there are tools and technologies which are available for all of these. For example, for doing vulnerability assessments, we get vulnerability scanner, right? These vulnerability scanners have the ability to scan through your network and identify those systems which have loopholes or vulnerabilities, missing patches, weak configurations, right? We need to learn how to use these tools. Let it be a Nessus front enable, let it be a Qualys. There are n number of programs that teach how to perform vulnerability assessments, how to perform penetration testing. Then how does this skill convert into your job? A bank calls you and says, I have to do vulnerability assessment and penetration testing exercise annually by an independent party. Please come and do that for us. And we charge them $500,000 for doing that, and we do it. But for us to do that, what is important is we know how to perform vulnerability assessments. And that is exactly where Shikhar comes in with his programs where he teaches vulnerability assessments, right? Cloud and infrastructure security. We all know that it is not I would say, any kind of guesswork anymore or a mystery that organizations are moving to cloud. All Fortune 500 companies have already moved to cloud, right? All. It's not that few of them, right? When we do this, we are talking about cloud and infrastructure security. You need to learn AWS, Azure, Google. That is the skill set you need to build. Cybersecurity compliance. There are various compliance standards, ISO 27001, payment card industry data security standard. There is NIST that comes up with FedRAMP kind of, FISMA kind of compliance requirements. For all of this, you need to understand how regulations, cybersecurity regulations like NYDFS are drafted. What are the controls? What are the standards like ISO 27001, PCI DSS? There are very, very focused programs on compliance and certifications. Every organization in the world, for example, gets certified in an ISO 27001. But for us, to know what are the requirements for an organization to become ISO 27001 certified, we need to have those skill sets by first ourselves becoming ISO 27001 lead implementers or lead auditors. That is the skill sets we are talking about, right? GRC, we are talking about being able to set up Archer GRC, OneTrust GRC, or ServiceNow GRC kind of platforms, right? We need to learn how to do that, right? Talking about cybersecurity audits, we all know that everything that we have spoken about, the infrastructure, the cloud, uh, you know, organizational IT setup needs to be audited. And in most cases, organizations or every company's regulations need those to be audited annually, right? That is where audits come in. Data security and privacy. Privacy became such an important talk in the town somewhere around 2018, 2019, when GDPR as a regulation came in, right? Because GDPR as a regulation needed every organization that either receives data or sends data to the European Union to implement certain controls. What were those controls? We were talking about making sure that they create records of processing activities. They set up a data subject right management program. They set up notifications. They set up privacy policies. How would we as resources go ahead and do that if we do not uh, learn it? That is the question, right? That is where we have to spend time in learning these skill sets. And that is where these training programs, certification programs, MBAs, everything comes into picture. But the goal here is very simple, not to get carried away by the big, I would say, names of the universities, MITs, Harvards, or IITs. The idea here is to stay focused on the skill sets. As long as you can hands-on do everything that is written on this slide, you are a cybersecurity professional. How much time it takes to do all of these? The way it should be done it took me close to 20 years, right? How much of time in today's context it takes to learn all these skills? 6 months. Why? Because very structured cybersecurity programs have come into place now, which did not exist earlier. We had to learn all of these things that are written on the screen in bits and pieces. That was the challenge, right? So, with this, if we move in to understand what are the hot technologies, Internet of Things, blockchains, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, but still to protect them, these are the primary skill sets that you need to focus on, right? If you learn these, you will be able to protect AI, blockchain, IoT. Cybersecurity is going to be the key component available across all of them, right? Now, let us talk about some figures, right? As I told you that these numbers come directly from Cisco, IMC Group, CSO Online Group. You can go and verify them. The problem is when I talk to a CISO, he says, Shashanko, I often ask them for my students that, hey, I have like 3 people looking for a job. Do you have an opening? They say, Shashanko, 82% of the time they tell me that we need people who know cybersecurity. As long as you can bring them to the table, we always have jobs. The problem is this is one industry where we don't have people who know these skills. What are the skills? These are the skills. As long as we have these skills, we are good, right? Why? Because there is 300% increase in cybercrime, right? When we see people applying for jobs, right? The challenge that we have is in most of the cases in cybersecurity, people try to fake their skill sets and their qualifications. When we take interviews, people do not pass those interviews because they have not learned the basics of cybersecurity, right? That is where, I would say that if we see here, right, would like to say that although there are trillions of money lost due to cybersecurity, people not able to fight the cyber attacks, right? Firms are spending trillions of amount, right, in setting up their cybersecurity practice with more than 1 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs. The challenge still remains: we don't have cybersecurity professionals, right? We need people like you consider a career in cybersecurity, which is not an easy career, right? But it is definitely a rewarding one because we have already realized that 8 out of 10 companies have confirmed, and ISACA is the body, the oldest body in the industry, that candidates with formal cybersecurity trainings and certifications are expected to be hired by organizations, right? The problem is we don't have many people, right, with the right certifications, with the right skill sets, right? That is where we need people to focus on these 10 things, right? The future, everything we want to digitize. We don't want to go ahead and write policies in files, on paper. We want them digitized so that 3 months prior to renewing that particular policy, someone gets an email saying that, hey, you need to update your information security policy or your information identity and access management policy. Everything is getting digitized, right? And that is where the security side of technologies will come in. This is a challenging field. This field needs you to be very, very active, both in terms of your learning and in terms of being physically fit, right? There are job opportunities across the globe. I will show you some screenshot. Just go to LinkedIn, search for a cybersecurity and see how many jobs come up across the globe. and they remain open for months together because we don't have people, we don't get people, right? But at the same time, as you can see on point number 4, the hackers or the attackers don't take a break, right? They don't care if there are people or not in the industry for the organizations to hire. They will continue to attack, right? There are regulations like GDPR coming in every other day, right? And what happens is with these privacy regulations coming in, if organizations don't comply, they get fined $500,000, $1 million, right? $5 million. Very recently, Google got fined and Facebook got fined $5 million in a single ticket, right? For breaching privacy. What do they need? They need a strong privacy team, right? So what we are trying to say here is, if you just think about a few more items here, high paying jobs are there, practically unlimited growth is there, right? This is a real job market, a real field, not a hypothetical one where we don't know what we are talking about, right? Now, the question here that I see that many of you are asking is twofold. One is to go from a basic, that is from a cybersecurity analyst, to the top, right? What are the skill sets required? What are the certifications required? And the second question is, how are these, I would say, compensations of across levels? So let us look at what Yahoo Finance says. Okay, they say on an average around 120, $125,000 is being paid to currently cloud, computing professionals. Reason is very clear. As I said, every organization is moving to cloud, right? So naturally, there is a demand, right? With generative artificial intelligence coming in, chat GPT coming in, we know there is demand there, right? Data, the new oil, we need to analyze it, data analytics. Cybersecurity, on an average, will pay you $80,000 a year. These are US dollars, by the way. Now, if that is the case, I would like to deep dive into cybersecurity and understand what are the levels, right? In cybersecurity, these are the levels. What are the certifications? What are the skills we need? We can initially become security administrators or specialists, right? We can become penetration testers, as I said, vulnerability assessors, or we can become incident responders, right? We can, as I said, we can set up policies, we can become GRC professional, right? We can become an auditor, right? Or we can, so slowly I've started moving into this senior management realm of the world where I'm a security director. We can become a deputy CISO or a CISO, right? And if we do that, let me first answer the compensation part of it. Typically, cybersecurity analysts get paid anywhere between $40,000 to $80,000 annually. Managers, I've seen getting 90 to 160. Directors typically are 170 to 270, and CISOs I've seen 220 to $700,000. But these are all for a median average companies. Okay, there are firms where CISOs are paid up to $2 million, right? Now, for me to move from a cybersecurity analyst till becoming a CISO, that is from no experience to 18, 20 years of experience. The question here is, how do I progress and how do I learn? Is there any certification that I need to do? The answer is yes, right? We have to do certifications and we have to keep learning throughout this transition, right? Because new technologies will come, endpoint security will come, right? Compliance, new regulations will come, and we have to keep ourselves updated all the time in cybersecurity. Now, are we saying that if someone has done a certified ethical hacker or has done some kind of a vulnerability assessment, penetration testing kind of a program, he has learned those skill sets. Can he become a cybersecurity analyst? The answer is a yes, right? So what are those certifications that we need, right? If you are a fresher, let us very quickly spend 2 minutes. If you are a fresher, you don't know anything about cybersecurity, or let's say you are an individual from a completely different world, you build buildings, right? Two, three things. You can become a part of organizations like ISACA and ISC Square. You can enroll for these training courses where you start learning these technologies slowly. Typically, in my view, it takes around 6 months for you to build those skills, learn. 6 months, I don't mean full-time programs. I mean 2 hours every day in the evening, or a 3, 4 hour program over the weekend is sufficient for you to start learning. And it takes 6 months of learning for you to break into those analyst kind of roles, right? Many of them ask me this question that I have a career break, or I'm from finance background, or I'm from a completely different background, right? I do retail, right? Can I learn? Yes, you can. Again, the rule remains the same. Invest on yourself. It will take you 6 months. Be patient. Do these programs. There are structured programs. You can learn cloud security. Focus on that. Figure out what you want to learn. Identity and access management in itself guarantees you a job, right? Penetration testing. Learn these skill sets. Learn how scanning happens, how vulnerability assessment happens, and then you can basically move into these jobs, right? Now, typically, we need knowledge, we need credentials, because at the end of the day, unlike most other industries, it might be important for you to note that in cybersecurity, you need credentials. What do I mean by that? I mean that maybe no one cares if a software developer is a Java certified developer or not. But in cybersecurity, if you're a privacy professional, you need to have a CIPP, right? I'll show you. So the first thing is you need to have passion, right? You need to have some kind of experience. Very important here to note that that experience doesn't need to be in cybersecurity. You can be a network administrator. You can be a desktop administrator. You can be a computer operator, right? Network engineer, system administrator. But you need to have some kind of industry experience better. Formal education, we all know, cannot be replaced. And then you need to start focusing on certifications, right? When we say certifications here, I've been getting this question, why certifications? Because when I'm a consultant, right? If I go and claim to a bank, let's say world's one of the biggest banks, that I will do your penetration testing, they ask for credentials, right? That what are your certifications? Who are you, right? So when I hire people in my organization, when I take interviews, I look for people who have those certifications that my clients demand. It's as simple as that. Primarily, it demonstrates for me commitment, that the individual is committed to do, to study, to learn. That is why certifications are required. What are those certifications? I know many of you ask us questions. These are those certifications, right? So where do I start from? First, pick your specialization. Do you want to uh, become a privacy professional? If the answer is yes, International Association for Privacy Professional is your place to go. Start with the CIPP certification, right? Are you more on the technology side of privacy? Do a CIPT certification, right? Do you need any prerequisites? The answer is a no. I repeat, you don't need to have any prerequisite. You just need to have the commitment to read 3, 4 hours, 5 hours every day consistently for 3 months, and you will be done, right? If you want to become an auditor, start with a CISA, right? Do you need any special skills for that? No, right? There are very good certifications like CISSPs, right? Or CCSPs or forensic, right? SANS provides so many GIAC certifications. EC Council, if you want to become a vulnerability assessor, look for CEH and then LPT, right? They are all in sequence, right? These are the type of certifications that you can start without worrying about what you need to know already. No, all programs can start from basic, go up to advanced level. You don't need to know anything. You don't need any formal education in technology or have an engineering degree. Anyone with any background can do it as long as he's interested, as long as basically these building blocks are there, right? You have passion, you have interest, you are ready to learn, you want to go for certifications, you get certified, and it is guaranteed that an individual will get jobs, right? If you just want to confirm whatever I'm saying is true, just type information security in LinkedIn and search. You will get to see what are the type of jobs that are currently available at different levels, right? For entry level itself, there are hundreds of jobs. For associate level, mid-senior level, director level, executive level. This is one area where even at executive levels, there are jobs. I get 3 calls every day, right? This is a big market, right? From network security to threat intelligence to IoT to mobile security to cloud security, right? We have plethora of companies that are hiring, that are creating products, that want people who can operate their products, right? Organizations that are buying these products. So if you get a job and you don't know how to do it, say yes, and we will later figure out how to do it. Call Sanket, he will tell you which programs you need to do this job right. Because the illiterate in 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. Everyone knows how to read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. We need that commitment of continuous learning throughout their careers in cybersecurity. That is the only ask. So can anyone do it? Yes. Do we need a background? No. Are all the programs going from basic to advanced? The answer is a yes. Right? What do we need? We need commitment. We need the ability to learn, unlearn, relearn. Right? With that, I would hand back the session to Sanket, and maybe any questions that anyone has, I will be more than happy to answer those. I would stop sharing, and over to you, Sanket.
Thank you. Thank you, Shango. Thank you for this great insight. And I'm pretty sure our learners actually enjoyed it as much as I did. Having said that, just for all of you, I have shared a form with you in the chat also, so that if you have anything, if you are interested in the program or want to go ahead and upskill, you can go ahead and fill in the form, and we will be more than happy to go ahead and answer that for you. Someone says, is it free? No, Ram, it's not free. I did mention the cost also in the chat. So let me go ahead and answer some of the questions that I got. Okay. First question that I got, pretty common, was, do I need to come from a technical background? Okay. Shashango has already answered that. And let's talk numbers. Okay, Shashango, how many people have you trained? I know we have trained a lot of people. How many people have you trained who are not from technical background? I mean, not engineers for that matter.
See, I would tell you, I have done close to 180 CISSP batches alone, right? And I would say only 30% of the people are engineers. And even if they are engineers, as you know, if you have a degree in civil engineering or chemical engineering, it is as good as you having not an engineering degree, which is relevant for cybersecurity. As a matter of fact, Shikhar, it is a very interesting question, because even when we did our engineering, cybersecurity was not a subject. So there was not a choice with us to do a degree or a master's degree in cybersecurity. It has now happened, and thanks to you that you have brought these programs to the table. Because the way I see it is, even if there are people who are engineers sitting in my class, they don't have a relevant degree related to cybersecurity at all.
That is absolutely true. Back in the day, around 15 years ago, the knowledge was also limited. The awareness was also limited. The thought process was, let's do our engineering first and then let's decide what to do next. Okay. When I moved into data science back in 2012, it didn't even exist. I know a lot of friends who actually joke around saying that we are accidental data scientists, because that wasn't an industry back then. It was more a part of the IT. But that's not the case today. I know people who are moving towards the niche, and that's actually where the money is, when you go ahead and move towards the niche and stuff as such. Now, having said that, the cybersecurity programs that we go ahead and offer, that is designed in order to bridge the gap that Sashanko also actually talked about right now. There's a huge gap in what academics had to offer, the generic education, and what companies actually want. Think of it this way. I know a lot of people would be working professional right now. Think of it this way: how much did you learn in college, and is that what you are implementing in your job right now? Probably there are only a few who are going to even say like 5%, 10% maybe. So there's a huge gap. There's a problem that exists, and we go ahead and try to solve that problem. Now, let me give you a brief insight, all of you, about the MBA program first that we have. Now, the MBA program that we have, guys, it's pretty unique. Okay, I'll tell you how. First of all, it's a 12-month program with 60 ECTS. Okay, so while you are studying for your MBA, we also give you a chance to work as an intern. Okay, so not only you get all the academic, the theoretical knowledge, the projects that you do, but you also get to learn by working as a cybersecurity intern with us. So by the end, when you graduate, you have a master's degree coming from Switzerland. You have 1 year of experience coming in from Singapore. Now that's highly valued. Okay, and that's a testament or a proof that you know stuff. So that is again the unique feature, and I don't think there is any that actually can go ahead and work. And Albert says, how can I intend? Well, it's absolutely remote. Okay, the course is online. We work in the remote platform. We have people coming in working from all across the globe. Albert, as you say, we have a very huge team in Philippines who's working with us right now also. Kishan, I see that he has some question. Kishan, do you have something to say? I've given you the access to unmute, so you can.
Hi, Shanko, and hi, very good evening, everybody. So, first of all, I really appreciate your help, with this entire presentation, because this has been very, very enlightening. Now, the question that I actually have, right, is pertaining to my experience and my education background. Okay, and the only reason why I'm asking is because I come from a very different background altogether. I started working at a very early age when I was 15. Okay, so you know, I'm not gonna lie about this, but I'm not a 12 pass. I'm not a graduate. Okay, uh, I ended up buying my degrees, all right, which are no longer recognized by UCG anymore. Okay, so keeping all that in mind, I know for the fact that I'm very, very keen in learning cybersecurity and becoming an expert, and probably even enrolling for future programs, which will help me upskill in my current, resume, so that I can actually apply for a better opportunity, not just in India, but all over the world. So my question here is very simple, and that is, although I don't have credible education, okay, which is not recognized by any institute, or any organization, will I be able to enroll, and will I be able to start from scratch, just with cybersecurity, or do I have to really go back and start from scratch, like trying to do my 12th, then doing my graduation, and then probably enrolling myself with this program? Because I'm 35 and I'm just blessed with a baby boy who is 4 months old now. So I don't think I would be in a position to do that, all over again, because I've lived that life, and I'm leaving that behind, and I want to move further. So Sushanko and Sushant, my actual question to you is, with the current situation that I am in, will I be able to start with you guys, or in this situation. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Kishan. Thank you for your question. So I'll rephrase it a bit and make it a little more generic. So we get this question
Sure.
a lot also, Shashank. It's a very interesting question. There are a lot of people who did not complete their graduation or are primarily, let's say, college dropouts. Okay. So how important is it having a degree? And if somebody, it's obviously it's important, there are a lot of jobs where you need, a degree, but can somebody start a career without doing their graduation? If so, what do you suggest is the right pathway to take?
See, this is a very, very good point, right? And as I said, the last thing I do is to basically jumble my words so that they are not honest. There are many, many organizations that do not hire someone who do not have a formal degree as such, right?
Yep.
Which are those organizations? There are organizations like Big Four audit firms, right? Will Ernst & Young hire someone who doesn't have a graduation degree if he's very skilled? The answer is a no, right? Would Google hire someone who understands penetration testing and vulnerability assessment very well, who doesn't have a degree? The answer is a yes. So to answer your question, Kishan, in cybersecurity, let's talk about certifications like Certified Ethical Hacker. I spoke a lot about CISSP or CISA or any of those certifications. Number one, it is not a requirement provided by any one of them that you need to have a graduation degree. So to learn cybersecurity and to pick up cybersecurity certifications, you don't need to have a degree. That is very clear, right? Now, having said that, given your situation, if you are a college dropout or if you have not done your degree, then is it like perfectly fine to think of a career in cybersecurity? The answer is there are certain organizations which may not give you the opportunity because they need a degree still, right? Although that scene has been changing very, very rapidly over the past 10 years. And we have seen organizations like Microsoft and Google openly come up and say, we don't have any requirements of a bachelor's degree anymore, right? There are some organizations, especially consulting firms, that need that kind of formal education. But given your situations, here are the options I am thinking about. So, Sanket, you can let me know what you think about your program, right? Does a MBA in cybersecurity program allow someone to take admission without a bachelor's degree? That is a question that I would leave to you. But if it does, then I know there are definitely organizations within different industries that are allowing people to basically join and work as if they have, it does not matter if they had a degree or not, right? Because, and is that completely risk-free? The answer, is that I would give is 100% risk-free, right? Because we understand you have a 4-month-old, Sanket has an 8-month-old, I have a 4-month-old, all ready to wake up, right? We understand completely the scenario you are in. There is no question of being in a situation left in a limbo that where you invest your time, you invest your money, you get to learn the skill sets, and then you get to know that, by the way, I still needed to have a graduation degree. No, that is not the requirement. Although there are organizations that do not hire people, like Big Four audit firms do not hire people. There are several others who do hire people with cybersecurity skill sets without a degree.
Let me quickly jump onto this. Let me add a few things. Obviously, Kishan, I would like to go ahead and have a one-on-one conversation with you some other day, understanding what do you have and what's your mind. But see, we cannot go back in time, right? We cannot change until and unless Doctor Strange or somebody similar. There's no way of time traveling or going back and switching what actually has happened. Okay, so having said that, you have to make the best of what you have got right now. There are a lot of startups who primarily focus on the skill set. rather than the piece of paper that you actually hold. Uh, I know a lot of people who actually started their own cybersecurity consultancies, okay, who go ahead and work for themselves and for their clients in order to go ahead and, there are companies. See, it's a myth that only the top big four or the Fortune 500 companies need cybersecurity. Okay, startups are more vulnerable to cybersecurity, or cyber attacks compared to those big organizations. And the 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 people who are doing evil with the cyber attacks and things as such, they don't care where it's a startup. It's a lot easier. So it's easier to go out and attack 10 different startups than attacking maybe KPMG for that matter. So having said that, that's the whole point. So there are multiple ways in which you can go ahead and do that. We will need to go ahead and talk more about your individual journey, what you're coming from. So I guess you can connect with me on LinkedIn. We can have a word, and maybe we can go ahead and discuss about your situation. And I'll see if I can go ahead and answer to that. Sofian Ismail also seems to be raising the hand. Do you have any question, Sofian, that you want to speak?
Hi, yeah.
Just before you go ahead and ask your question, guys, after this question, I will go ahead and talk more about the certification program, the syllabus, and about the MBA also. So if you have that question, please wait. Let me go ahead and take his question first because he's been waiting for a while. It's all yours. Go ahead, Sofian. You have a question.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Can you guys hear my voice?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much for organizing this talk, this event. I really appreciate you guys. So I've been picking out a few like basic cybersecurity courses, and I'm from Singapore, so I noticed that you guys have your own center. Is it? Am I right?
That is correct. That is correct. The background that you're seeing, that's actually our office picture.
Yeah, because in Singapore, I think the work culture environment is totally different from India or from the West, because it's really hard to get into the industry without I would say a degree, yeah, or a certain specialized certification. So my question is like how as a Singaporean, like how do I like to tackle these issues in order for me like to get a job, to ensure that the clients that I'm right for the job, because it's really hard, because let's just say Singapore is like majority of Chinese people or employers, even in the big companies. So how do we like, I don't know how to put it in words, but how can we like sell ourselves and to convince them? And my another question is, I saw the MBA. So there's no is there any prerequisites for the MBA? And
I didn't get the last part. Is there any
prerequisites for the MBA and
prerequisites? All right. So let me take the second part of the question first. Okay. So there are no prerequisites for the MBA. Okay. It's not that you have to come from an engineering background. There is no minimum experience that you need in order to go ahead and run that program. See, I'll be honest with you. The program we have designed in such a way that anybody can actually go ahead and make a career. Okay. And when I say this, I'm pretty sure Shashanko will also agree with me. Cybersecurity is not only about hacking. Okay. It's not, when you hear the word cybersecurity, you feel there's a guy wearing a hood with a mask trying to hack into computer, pressing some random keys, as you probably see in movies. Okay. That's not the reality. Okay. Most of the cybersecurity professionals, they don't even go ahead and do coding a lot. They work towards the compliance and the audit and the other aspect of things also. Okay. So that's having said that, even people coming in from commerce background, they have become successful in cybersecurity. It goes without saying, obviously, you will have to put in a little more effort because you have to be at par with somebody who comes from a technical background. But again, it's not a property only the engineers or the science graduates actually hold. Anybody can go ahead and become a cybersecurity expert, irrespective of the background that you're coming from. Specifically talking about the program that we have, we run the program from absolutely scratch. Okay, from zero to hero, as you may go ahead and call it. Okay, so anybody can actually go ahead and enroll into the program. And let me add one more thing to this. We also wanted to make a program that is affordable. Okay, usually when you look at an MBA, so think of it this way: you get an MBA from Switzerland. Parallelly, you go ahead and get 1 year of experience as a cybersecurity intern from Singapore. We are talking about two of the most expensive places on this planet, Switzerland and Singapore. So we are trying to give you a global reach. We are trying to go ahead and give you all the information. We are trying to go ahead and give you all the things. However, we want to make sure that it's also affordable. Education, quality, affordable education is our motto. And that is what we go ahead and try to go ahead and offer. Okay. The MBA program, for that matter, we are offering it at close to 2,500 USD. Okay. That's not, you'll probably find it hard even to go ahead and find a program that's twice the price. Okay, let go of in the bracket that I'm talking about right now.
No, it's really hard. I'll be honest, I'm very really surprised with the price. It's 2.5K USD, am I right?
That is correct. I get a lot of this question, I remember the other day somebody asked me, how do you even make money? Okay, so that's the thing. But we want to go ahead and do that, we don't want the MBA only to be, for the rich. Anybody can actually go ahead and do that. Okay, that's the whole point, and that is how we go ahead and learn also. That's the whole point. I see a lot of chat going on, guys. Please refrain from talking to each other personally. Okay, and it would be great if you can keep the conversation in English, for that matter.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt you. Just another one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like for you guys who are currently established in Singapore, like is it possible for myself, because I prefer up close with trainers so that they can the knowledge is easier to get in and more guidance and mentor.
Okay,
is that
so
okay?
I'll tell you one thing. All our instructors are not from Singapore, for that matter. We have some instructors coming in from Singapore. We have instructors from all across the globe. Shashanko also delivers from time to time sessions. He is from Boston. We have instructors coming in from England. We have instructors coming in from Egypt. We have instructors coming in from South Africa. So the point is, we try to go ahead and get the best people for the job, and we go ahead and try to find them, globally. That's the whole point. Okay. So the instructors are from all across. But having said that, Sufyan, do not think that you will not go ahead and get enough attention. So I'll tell you one more thing. We have a capping for our batches not to be more than 15. Okay, so you'll probably find 5, 10, 15 people in your batch. So that means that you will have enough time from the instructor also. Plus, we create a WhatsApp group in which the instructor and all the participants are also going to be there. So the idea is simple. Learning is not something that you only get from your instructor. It happens, working as a community also from your peers also. So, that's how we go ahead and take things forward. It's a great experience that you will have. I can absolutely go ahead and, tell you that upfront. All right. Do you have any follow-up question, or shall I move to the other question?
All right, that'd be all. Thank you so much, man. I mean, coming from you, it's like a lot of information and it's on point. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel or sense any shady from you or any of you guys, because you guys
like to keep things really transparent, and that is why, see, most of the people will not even be comfortable discussing the pricing in a webinar where there are 150 people, but that's how we are. We like to keep things transparent. Being transparent, being honest is the right approach. You should know what you're getting, and that's how we work. You know it already. That's the Singaporean culture, to be honest and upfront. That's the thing.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'll be ending this now. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophian. Thank you for your question. I'm pretty sure your question actually helped a lot of others also to get the answer. Now, people were asking me about the certification program also. So let me just quickly share the screen that I have for you. So this is what we go ahead and cover in our 6-month certification program. Now, the 6-month certification program also comes with 2 months of internship, in which we go ahead and try to cover, the industrial side of things. So we start with cybersecurity fundamentals, then we move towards the intermediate skills, cybersecurity skill development, computation, number theory, cryptography. Then this is something that most of the people actually like, that is the gray hat hacking. Then cybersecurity skills and application, we move towards internship, and then we move towards your profile building, that is working with your LinkedIn profile, resume, interview preparation, things as such. So this primarily is gist or a summary of the 6 months program. Feel free to go ahead and download the syllabus, the detailed structure from here. You can even go ahead and go on our website and fill in the form over here. We'll be more than happy to take you from there. In addition to that, we also have MBA program. As you see over here, it's a 12-month program, 100% live instructor led. It's not self-paced. I got a question that can working professional do that? Well, absolutely. The classes are something that we do on Saturdays and Sundays. So, that's how it works. Okay. And we cover almost everything that you need. Plus, it's also towards the management side of things. Okay. So this is how it actually works. There's one more thing that we do that is pretty elite, and that will actually go ahead and help you add a doctor next to your name if you have already done your MBA, or even if you haven't done your MBA and if you hold more than 10 years of experience, you are eligible for DBA. For DBA, for people who don't know what it is, it's something like PhD, but PhD is more towards academics. DBA is more towards industry. In DBA, you go through the theory, you work on a problem statement, and that is how you learn to resolve it. And that's primarily it. Okay. So the DBA program it costs close to $5,000 for 2 years. Almost twice what MBA does, but again, it's for 2 years. And we make sure that you have all the knowledge, each and everything that is required. You can obviously go ahead and visit our website whenever you want, fill in the form, and we can go ahead and try to make sure that we assign a counselor and they will go ahead and get in touch with you. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, or I see a lot of people asking for Shashanko's profile also, so you can go ahead and connect with us on LinkedIn also. Just gonna type in my LinkedIn ID also over here in the chat. So feel free to go ahead and get in touch. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. People who are already connected know it already, and that's how it. Leonard wants to ask about the school accredited in Europe or not. Leonard, it has all the accreditations that you need. It has the ICHIA certification, QAHE certification that makes it valid as it is in more than 170 countries. Other than that, if you go ahead and move to some other country, obviously there is a attestation process that is involved based on the country that you have. In Philippines also it can be arranged, UAE it can be arranged, India it can be arranged. So it totally depends on whichever country you're talking about. You're typing in the messages in a language that I don't speak. So if you have any question for me, guys, please type it in English so that I can go ahead and answer your question. All right, I think I have answered all the question. If anybody wants to speak, you can raise your hand. I'll give you the option to unmute. Otherwise, you can type it in also. Kimberly says, do you have any discount? Well, Kimberly, this is the discounted price that we are offering. We are actually offering it at almost 50% right now. If you go to the website, you'll find the price for the MBA to be close to $5,000. I'm actually offering it to all of you at half the price. So that's how it is. You can go ahead and share your profiles with me. I can go ahead and see if I can do anything. But again, more or less, the pricing is something that we keep fixed because we want to make sure that it's even, it's fair for everybody. Okay, I don't find it relevant that somebody enrolls at 3,000, somebody at 2. So that's not what we do. We try to go ahead and do that. Also, it's not a one-time thing. Okay, you can pay in installments also. You can pay in installment for MBA. We have 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months installment available. For the doctorate program, we have 6 months, 12 months, 18 months installments available. And for the certification program, we have 3 months installment available also. So we want to make sure it's not a lot on your pocket. And yes, Kimberly, we do accept credit cards. We accept all form of payments. That is true. Do you have a physical college in Singapore? We don't have a physical college, but we do have our office. The background that I'm using right now on the screen, That is actually our office's picture itself. So we have a classroom over here also. We have a proper office in Singapore also. But this program that we are talking about, these are all, 100% online. Can you give advice if you will enjoy career in cybersecurity? Okay, last question, Shanko, for you. Do you enjoy working in cybersecurity? Or is it boring?
I would say there is no other career that I could have thought about. Where I can just travel to client sites, I can do audits all throughout the day. I can basically do vulnerability assessments. I can do penetration testings. I can keep learning, right? So yeah, that is how our day-to-day tasks are. Project to project, we move. Projects typically are like anywhere between 6 weeks to 6 months, sometimes a year. Very clear. But the goal here is basically to secure the client's infrastructure, their network. So I would say one of the most enjoyable job in current industry is cybersecurity. Yeah.
It fascinates a lot of people too. I know a lot of people that actually envy people who are in cybersecurity because of the enthusiasm, the energy that they actually possess. So I can tell you that upfront, I have not met a cybersecurity expert who does not love his job. Okay. But again, if you want to go ahead and love doing cybersecurity or anything as such, it's very important that you keep your eyes open and be ready for upskilling from time to time. Okay. You cannot be outdated. You have to be, relevant all the time. So whatever new comes in, you need to keep. And with Web 3.0 coming into the picture, with metaverse on our doorsteps, it's only going to be more and more dependent. So you try to search on Google. If there is any job that has zero unemployment rate, you'll find cybersecurity over there also. That again will come in handy to make your decision.
I know. And it is not as stressful as data analytics or programming, guys. I can tell you that.
But data analytics is also pretty good. You actually try to find something that you didn't even know. So that's a different realm altogether. Okay, but again, it varies from time to time. When is the coming intake for MBA? Well, to be honest, the orientation is already done. We have a batch starting already. So 16th is when the classes will actually start. So I would suggest if somebody wants to do an MBA, you can go ahead and join this week itself, and we can get your classes started from this weekend itself. Does cybersecurity include any programming? Yes, obviously it does, because you will be working towards other things also. For example, I'll take a bit of this question, Shashank. Okay, there are SQL injections that we talk about, website hacking that we talk about. So obviously, having understanding of programming does help you to become a 360 cybersecurity expert. Having said that, I know a lot of people also who do not do programming in their day-to-day life, but are pretty well-paid cybersecurity experts. Isn't that correct, Shashanko? Would you like to add anything?
That is the way I would put it as well. It is always a good idea to know a little bit of programming, but programming is not a mandate for a career in cybersecurity.
Awesome. So
like when we do audits, we don't do programming at all.
All right. Alibret, I see that you're raising your hand. Do you have any question? Anything that you want to say? I've given you the access to talk if you want to.
Hello, sir. Good evening from Philippines.
Good evening.
Sir, I just have one question to raise. What can you suggest for people who are currently taking MBA? It's actually my last semester towards completing my academic requirements, and then after that, I have to take my comprehensive exam. Then by next semester, hopefully, I have to take my thesis. And at the same time, I'm also currently taking data analytics. So what can you suggest for those people who wanted to, indulge to cybersecurity as well?
Are you studying with us, Albert, or is it somewhere else?
Somewhere else.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't recognize you from any of the batches. That's why I asked.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so he's already studying data science. You're already doing your MBA, right?
Yes, MBA and data analytics.
Okay, so somebody who's already doing their MBA, maybe towards the end of their journey, also possess knowledge of data science. Is cybersecurity something that you can club with data science or artificial intelligence, Shashanko?
I would say not much, to be honest. These are two different streams of specialization. If you are specializing in data analytics, there is data security as a concept in cybersecurity, which is a big concept, but you don't need those analytic skills in cybersecurity. So typically I've seen people choose one of the two, like Shikhar is he Sanket decided to go ahead and do data analytics. Is more of a data person. I'm more of a cyber person. I have not heard of someone who does both in his day-to-day job. Very difficult to find a profile like that.
But a fusion would actually be good between data scientist and cybersecurity expert. See, let me tell you one thing. AI is playing a very important role in the world that we live today. Okay, and knowledge, any which ways, it cannot harm you. Okay, a cybersecurity expert who knows data science or a data science expert who knows cybersecurity also will come in handy when you go for a job interview also. But again, you will have to choose a pathway. You can be a cybersecurity expert who knows data science, or you can be a data scientist who knows cybersecurity. Okay, you cannot go ahead and how do I put it? You cannot have foot on two different boats at one time. Okay, so you'll have to choose the boat that you are going to be on. The other one is going to be secondary. One has to be your primary skill set, data science or cybersecurity. Okay, so choose your primary skill set, and the other one will complement that and maybe give you some advantages over your peers, maybe during your interviews, maybe during your work. So that's how I would like to go ahead and put it. Is that clear for you, Algebra?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Any more question, guys? Or shall we go ahead and end? Last question. If you're a cybersecurity of a company and they get hacked, are you liable that they sue you and you go to jail? Okay, so Shashanko, this is again a question that I have. The question is, if you are a cybersecurity expert for a company and if that company gets hacked, do you go to jail?
The answer is it has started happening. The chief information security officers are now liable and they may end up in jail. That is correct.
Okay, that's plain.
But that is only for the chief
information
information security officer, and that is because now the chief information security officers for some of the companies have been made a part of the board, and they are basically being offered shares of the company. So you can imagine someone who basically makes around $5 million a year. He has to take the liability as well.
Correct.
So, yes.
So this question itself, the other way around is two important things. First of all, you are that important if you are in cybersecurity. So put it this way, okay? Do not go ahead and think of it that you will go to jail, okay? That also happens when you do not follow the protocols, okay? If you're following the protocol, if the compliance is being followed, if the CIA triad is being followed, things as such, if they are being followed properly, the chances are less. But again, that gives you the importance, how important it is, a role of a cybersecurity expert. So, that's the whole point that we are trying to make over here. It's very rare that somebody goes to jail, okay? That too in the highest of the position, okay? It's similar to, when a minister resigns, when something wrong happens, so it's something similar to that. You have to take the accountability, as Shashanko said, if you're making $5 million. Okay, so that's the whole point. Well, any which ways, I guess that takes care of all the questions. We have tried to answer all the questions. We have actually extended, for quite some time. Sophie and I did get your message. We can go ahead and talk. No worries. And if anybody wants to go ahead and have a conversation, feel free to go ahead and get in touch. Okay. I will try to arrange a call from our counselors for all of you who have attended the webinar today to understand your candidature and what suits you the best. And we will honestly go ahead and suggest you whatever is, whatever best we can do. On that note, thank you once again, guys, for being a part of this session. I absolutely enjoyed the conversation that we had. Some very amazing questions that actually came. And thank you once again, Shashanko. I know you are on the other side of the world. It's a 12-hour difference between where you are and in Singapore or Philippines. So it was pretty early for you, and the participants actually spent the evening, Sunday evening, learning about cybersecurity. So thank you to both of you, Shashanko, to you for taking this session, and to all the participants for, attending this session. It was great talking to all of you, and I wish you all the best. Whichever part of the world you're coming from, have a good day, have a good night. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you into the program. Let us be your preferred learning partner. That's all I would like to say. Thank you once again, guys. And thank you, Shashanko.
You guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.